All right, here we go again. My name's Dan Uladol. I'm I guess, almost 35-year veteran of radio patrol hobbies. Been flying since I was 12 years old. I race cars, fly drones, everything. So I got 3D printers going in the background. Got my laser cutter going. Need to shut that thing down. Maybe make some less white noise. So I wanted to do a quick video, as quick as I can, on this. I just got the E-Flight ultra slow stick the other day. Had a nice day yesterday to go out and fly. I flew the first couple of batteries through it, and it was kind of, we're at the end of March. It's kind of breezy. It was an angled crosswind the wrong way at our field. So what I ended up with, I just wanted to turn up my AS3X a tiny bit to smooth out some of the flying. The stock setting was locked up. I got in the forward programming, and there was nothing I could do to up the settings on the AS3X. So I did my due diligence online. I went out around noon or 1 o'clock, flew through about 3 batteries. Came home, was like, man, it's frustrating. I'd really like to get that fixed. So I started going down the rabbit hole of trying to find out, how do I do that? And I got the cable a while back for some of my other Spektrum airplanes. This is the Spektrum TX-RX USB programming cable, SPM 3065. So it's just a USB-A with feels like it's got a board on it, under heat shrink, and a plug-in servo lead. So I put the programming software on my computer, which I'm going to grab my computer here. So I'm going to tell you what another thing I found out on my really nice new 3-month-old laptop. It didn't want to read the USB. Well, I only know enough to be dangerous, I guess. So I wasn't able to I tried for way too long. Enough time to figure out that it's not working on that computer. So I grabbed my little bit older computer and updated the Spektrum programming app, which that is called Spektrum Programmer app. You can get it online. You can just search for it. You can log into it. This will be fun. Let's see here. So you log into it, and you're going to grab your receiver. Best practice for doing this with your receiver is go ahead and just take it out of the plane. Just maybe for safety or whatever you want to call it. Only takes a second to plug all this stuff back in. This is primarily a problem with bind and fly airplanes. So it's an ar630, and it has bind program serial 2. The orange wire goes up, plug it in. Doesn't do anything. So set that. It's got double-sided tape on it from the airplane, so that makes it a little bit easier to deal with. Because since it's got the AS3X in it, it should probably be held flat so that you're not messing up anything else. But nevertheless, there's a button up here, and if you're following along at home, I'm going to lower the tripod. Excuse my... All right, so we can get this computer a little bit closer now. Okay, it's got a button up here called power cable. You're going to go up and click that. It's going to give you a warning. It says make sure your computer's not damaged and you don't have a battery plugged in. Some of the old videos said you need to power that up with a battery. The instructions that come with it say you need to power that up with a battery. That's not true. Power cable. Now it turns it on. So I'm going to use the device settings. What I found out, these are locked from the factory. These ar630s, when they come on a bind and fly airplane, you're not supposed to be able to change the settings. Well, I would believe that 95% of us want to change the settings, and they should just put a stock ar630 in there, because I found the stock settings are within 5 or 10% of where I wanted my AS3X to begin with, or to be at anyways. So I went in there and went over here to software update. Okay. I said install another version. Automatically pops up the latest firmware for a stock. You went to the hobby shop, or you went online to Amazon or Horizon Hobby or A-Main Hobby or wherever you shop at. You bought a standalone ar630. This works on all of the newer receivers. I just simply, they didn't show me this anywhere. I just happened to be clicking around because I didn't get any other information. And I clicked on ar630 version 2.38.5 and hit update. And it sent the settings right to my receiver. Turned it into a box stock, brand new ar630. So I'll do it again anyways. I didn't change much. Just to give you the full effect. You can see the lights flickering. It means it's taking the data. So give that 15 seconds. I swear I wasted 3 hours on this yesterday. And it takes about a minute to do this whole thing. Device was successfully updated to 3-year-old firmware, or 2.5-year-old firmware. That's fine. I don't care. As long as my airplane doesn't go boom, it's all good. So it's done. That's it. That's all you have to do. You don't have to stand on one foot or anything. You just have to make sure your computer, I think on my newer laptop, it doesn't read the USB as a port or whatever. I wasn't going to do enough research to figure out how to fix that yesterday. I might work on that here in the future. So all it has to do is give you the option to power cable and connect, and go over to software update, pull the latest firmware for your receiver, update it, and then click power cable. That's like ejecting it. And then pull that out. And then I'm going to put it back in the airplane real quick. And show you what it does to the transmitter. Since I'd already done it, I really didn't get the good option to show you when you go to forward programming what it looks like. It looks like the regular forward programming menu, but you only get AX3X settings, which means you can turn it on and off, but you cannot change the gains. And it had Safe Select, which I didn't activate Safe Select because I don't need it yet. This plane flies exceptionally well as an aerobatic plane, as a stall plane, as a it does exactly what I wanted it to do. When I bought this plane, I bought it as what I would consider a knockaround plane, something I can get batteries charged quickly and get it out to the field quickly when the wind dies down, when I have some time. It can just sit in the truck if I'm going over to Dad's house, or if I'm going over to Dave's house and, hey, let's go fly something real quick. Oh, that's a great idea. Let's go. Well, I got something with me, and I didn't have to spend 30 minutes loading up to go out and do that. I can even charge on the fly with my chargers. So real quick, let's get this hooked back up in the airplane, and then I'll show you the menus real quick. My other video shows you how to buddy box with this, the DXS. That was a pretty cool thing to find out I could do. So let's start here. Really, all we need to hook up, technically, for now, is throttle. Remember, your light wire goes up. On the avian, the wire is yellow. Well, no, that's not true. There's an extra wire that's yellow. The extra wire I read up on is a programming setup. So that's in here, basically. Nice and level, so that I get my I can do my gyro settings. So I turn on my transmitter, throttle down, throttle cut on. All right, so initialized. Now we'll go, let's see here, we'll get this down here where we can see. It's close enough. I need to learn how to do screen work, but go to model adjust, forward programming. Now you didn't have this other settings menu before. You just had gyro settings. Other settings, you can do all kinds of neat stuff with it. But I was mainly focused on these AS3X settings, AS3X gains. I have it set up here in your normal safe select switch area, just for non-confusion on other airplanes. I always try to make that the safe select switch if I have to fly somebody else's airplane. You'll see pulled all the way down, which on if you fly airplanes that have safe select, this would be considered the advanced selection when safe is off and all that. So I make sure I keep that down. That's one of my only switches while I'm flying. That's always in the down position just because of the continuity through other people's transmitters. But if you get up here and you can see, I have turned up those settings, and it's as easy as clicking on it, and it gives you that, or you can slide it, or you can up it by 1 or 2% at a time. I just put in a little bit more oomph on those AS3X settings because they were really, really light. And they're still pretty light. I went back out to the field, flew 3 more batteries, kind of adjusted those as I went, and I was really happy with 30 on roll, 45 on pitch, 65 on yaw. Odds are, if it was even calmer out, I could probably go up another 5%. And before you start getting waggle, you don't want to see any waggle. You'll see, and to get out of that, of course, you just back out of it. Get back to your main menu, and you're good to go. So that's walking you through the whole gamut of that. I really enjoyed learning that because I've heard the same problem kind of over and over, that somebody gets a bind and fly or a plug and play, and it's more or less bind and fly that does it, or the ready to flies, and those receivers are locked up from the factory. And that's how they introduced that here in the last 6 months to a year, from what I could tell, that you can get in there and unlock them and be able to use those, get to those settings, access those settings. I need to do the same thing on the Habu, see if I can change some of that around. But that's it. It's not a hard thing to do. If you got any questions, I'll try to help you with them. Some of this stuff can get pretty confusing. Some of the pages I read in regards to either the buddy box thing or jailbreaking your receiver, they didn't walk you through all those things. And the steps are pretty simple. Get a computer and make sure that that computer can speak to your receiver. Can connect. Connectivity issues are going to bog a lot of people down until they update the updater. Is that what it's called? Spektrum Programmer app. The updater app doesn't even download anymore. I can't even find it. I found it, but the link's not live anymore. So Spektrum Programmer probably on Spectrum's website. I think that's where I got it. You get it to read it. You go over to software update, pick the most recent firmware, flash that to your receiver, turn on your transmitter, make sure you've gone through all your settings. And then you should probably rebind after you've made sure that all your settings are correct. We learn things the hard ways, and that's one of the hard things I learned a long time ago last summer. A friend of mine came over and we didn't rebind after we made a couple changes. And one of the changes was reversing the throttle servo. And that plane had my first brownout or signal loss, and failsafe went to full throttle, and that thing spiraled into the ground at Mach 200, and there wasn't much left. So Do your research. This one was hard, like I said, hard to find. So hopefully this video clears it up for you. Thanks for watching.